So the first time there was a Lancashire against Yorkshire rep side game.
Correct.
Well, I'm guessing it has to be after 1895 because otherwise it would
If you
be
get it within
a different
10 years,
sport.
if you get it within 10 years, I'll give it you.
I'm gonna guess 1901.
And therefore you can have it because it was in fact 1895.
Oh, was it?
It was the
Straight
very
away.
first straight away. The very first year of the modern game, rugby league, was there was a representative game between Yorkshire and Lancashire.
Fair enough.
After a long spell, right through with only gaps for the wars, the competition was resumed in 1985 and ran again, Yorkshire and Lancashire. What was the sponsorship name? What was it entitled, that game, during that period?
Oh, I don't know. I was born that year.
Yeah, come on. You should.
I should remember this. Yeah.
You should know this. It was a very popular theme. It was called on. Do you want me to give you this one?
Yeah.
Okay. It was called the Rodstock War of the Roses.
Rodstock. I don't know what that is.
No, it was a company.
Right.
Do you not know that theme? Okay, because all the shirts, I don't know whether you've seen the shirts from time, they all had Rodstock on. The Lancashire and the Yorkshire shirts both had Rodstock on. They were very nice shirts, actually. Okay. I'll let you off because you
not been within my wheelhouse of knowledge, that.
All right, okay. Well, it is now.
Yeah, Rodstock.
Rodstock War of the Roses. So, it's been going since 1895. There have been 91 games between the two sides during that period. Can you tell me who's won the most games?
Right, well, I know that in the recent Academy Origin series, Lancashire romped home to a 2-0 win in that series. So I thought I'd get that out there as something I actually know. Because I don't know the answer to this
Got nothing to do with the answer, but go on.
Yeah. Just to remind people that I do know some things, but not predicting results or
Come
or
on, you've not got many options here.
Let me think. So, pre-war, you had a few dominant Yorkshire sides, didn't you? The Hunslets, the Huddersfields, early days Batley were good, Bradford, Park Avenue or whatever. So, early days, Yorkshire must have taken a bit of a lead in this regard. But I feel like you wouldn't ask that question if it was Yorkshire was the answer. So I'm torn. I'm gonna say Yorkshire. Yorkshire have won more than Lancashire.
44 games each and 3 draws.
Trick question. Trick question. You cheeky bastard.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That'll teach you.
Oh, I love a good trick question. Oh, good stuff. Well, we need another one then, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. Let's discuss it a second then, because I haven't got any recommendations, and so I'm not going to discuss anything then. So let's discuss it a little bit, right?
Go on.
I saw Love Rugby League put out a hypothetical Yorkshire 13, didn't they? This week, shout out to our friends at Love Rugby League, as always. On Yorkshire Day, they put out a hypothetical. You might not have seen it. You might have managed to mute that.
I've tried to.
I'm not going to go through the teams, go through that sort of stuff. But talking more bigger picture, it's the kind of thing that comes up so often. Early days of our podcast, we were really backing the idea as a much more sensible alternative to things like Exiles and Combies and Combies now, but Exiles back then, stuff like that. But realistically, how do we get that fixture in the calendar to be in there and commercially successful and well supported, and also supported by the clubs and players. How do we get it? Not saying to be state of origin, because our sport in this country can't be the same as the sport down under. But what things do we need to put in place to make that fixture become a reality again, so we can settle the long-running series, and also to use it as an asset in our game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it did run for a hell of a long time as part of the sort of the county championship series that was running in rugby league. As I say, it only broke for the wars, and then it stopped. And I think, and then came back in '85, and then there was another little spurt of 2 or 3 years. I think in the late '90s or the early 2000s.
There was
early noughts.
That
early
miserable
noughts.
one at Odsall where it was like 54 and soaking wet.
I went to that.
The good part of that was we couldn't see half the tries Yorkshire scored because you couldn't see through the rain to the other end of the pitch. That was about the only relief of that game.
Yeah, exactly. I think the answer to this is almost the same as the question we were talking about earlier in the year, Mark, about how do we make the Challenge Cup more attractive to fans in the run-up. I think the reality is, at the moment, fans are just not interested.
Or even if they're interested, do they have the...
Or not interested enough to spend their hard-earned on it. So we either have to think of another solution. We were talking about creative season ticket options, making this into some sort of, at least until you can get the interest going, making it into some sort of freebie as part of your season ticket package, or rolling it in with buying tickets for England or something like that, in order to, get it going, really. I don't see any immediate prospect of that happening. I don't think we have the imagination or creativity to really push on that, and I don't think the clubs are hugely interested in it because it doesn't make any money for them. No. Sadly,
it'd need to have a profile that was kind of a step above the Super League competition, and all I can see is players getting pulled out by the clubs.
Yep.
And it not earning that profile. So yeah, it's a shame. Okay, and finally, news topic, kind of related a little bit. Did you see England's World Cup warm-up game against Fiji has been moved from Rochdale to Salford? Bit of a fallout on this one. With it seems like, if my understanding's right, the owners of Rochdale Football Club that seem to own the stadium too have changed since this was first put forward as the celebration of Rochdale's history as a club, and with the links that Rochdale has to Fijian nationals coming over into our country. It seems like there's been a change in ownership at Rochdale Football Club since then, and they've kind of come out saying that there was no commercial agreement for this match, so they're not willing to let it go ahead now, and saying it wasn't covered by the existing contract that they have with Rochdale Rugby League Club. It seems like there's been a bit of a dispute there, bit of a falling out. That's crap. That's not good for Rochdale in the medium to long term anyway. To have those issues, but yeah, move to Salford. So I think that's a shame. Do you think it'll impact on the attendance? Do you think the people of Rochdale will be quite satisfied to drive around the ring road and go to the AJ Bell?
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll impact the attendance too much. I mean, I think this is going to be, for people who want to watch England in the World Cup, I'll go to this game if I possibly can, because I want to see how England are shaping up ahead of the World Cup games. I remember going watching England against Italy. I think.
Oh God, that was a worrisome warm up, wasn't it?
That was a wake-up call. And it was a bloody awful day as well, if I remember rightly, in
There was
Salford.
a bit of fallout around that game, wasn't there, as well, with some of the players misbehaving and stuff. Hardacre
Yeah,
and
there was.
Gareth Hock were both kind of cast aside from the England squad, weren't they, at that point?
Yeah. Was Hardacre involved in something again? I can't remember. But yeah, it wasn't. This is the sort of game I would be interested in going to if it's. If I can possibly go, I'll go. So I'm not sure.
I think Fiji are one of the sides that, because I think they play most of their games in Hull and places like that, I don't think I've got any tickets for Fiji.
No.
If I remember right, I think they're one of the teams that I might not see. I can't remember. I might have one, but yeah. So it might be an opportunity for people who haven't got tickets to their games. I can't imagine it's going to be expensive tickets. What I did hear is people who've already bought them from Rochdale for playing it in Rochdale, the profits off those will still be retained by Rochdale. So it still will have some positive impact on the Rochdale club, which is good to see. And hopefully there's not too many people who require refunds and actually can still go to the game even with the location moved. So but another frustrating thing for our game to deal with. But
it's frustrating, and it smacks of poor administration again, to be quite honest, which is not great, is it?
No. Do you have any recommendations from your last run of travels?
No, I don't. To be honest, Mark, I haven't really given it an awful lot of thought. But I promise next time I'm on, I will have something.
Yeah, well, you're going to see a lot of stuff, so.
I am. I've got the Edinburgh Festival coming up, and then I'm back for 2 days, and then I'm off to the Green Man Festival. It's festival season. Off to the Green Man Festival, so I'll be fully festivaled out by the time I next appear on the show.
Fair play. Well, it's where are we at? It's Alan next week, so he might talk a little bit more about his experiences at the Summer Bash. And then the week after that, it's our guest host Tom Andrews, who's back to, I guess, run the rule over Hull KR. We haven't had an opportunity to dig deep on them this year, like we've been able to do on Warrington a couple of times. We've been able to do obviously with our 4 teams throughout the year too. But yeah. Let's hope
Hull KR are still fighting for playoff place by the time Tom appears on the show.
Yeah, good stuff. But Alan and myself next week. We hope you'll come back and join us for that. If you want to get in touch or anything like that, you can. It's at SuperLeaguePod on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod, SuperLeaguePod@gmail.com, or SuperLeaguePod.com for the episode blog posts. Search for the show on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, or anywhere you normally find your podcast. And we're on YouTube too. That's actually the place where you'll find the most comprehensive archive, because of like hosting costs and this not being something we make money from. We can't keep all our podcast episodes up on our podcast feed, but they do stay up in little 15-minute chunks on YouTube. Do you want to do a shout out to our friends before we get out of it?
I certainly will. So Rob's Megastore, enter SLP10 on checkout to get 10% off your order. Little Warden, vital alerts for hidden issues. Head to littlewarden.com to see what they can do for you. And Sarah's bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books with access to over 3,000 titles from baby to young adults. There's something for everyone. Find out more on Facebook.
Great stuff. Please do support all of our friends, and please do tell your friends to listen to the Super League Pod, get their fan reviews in alongside your fan reviews, and we'll have much more to talk about next week, as we always do. And until then, thank you to you all for listening to your favourite Rugby League podcast, the Super League Pod. Goodbye.
Bye.
Petey won in the 50.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He won the 50. That was mental. I was absolutely stunned when he finished outside the medals.
Yeah. Well, that hasn't happened since 2015.
Well, since Wakefield last beat Castleford.
Yes, something like that. There you are. So, I mean, he's had a broken foot, didn't he?